Renowned neuroscientist and novelist David Eagleman co-wrote the thought-provoking book, The Runaway Species: How Creativity Remakes the World with Anthony Brandt. Stanford University professor Eagleman is praised for his ability to use a compelling writing style to make a difficult scientific concepts accessible to a broad audience. Eagleman and Brandt explore the intricate relationship between creativity and the evolution of human culture and technology. They delve into the neuroscience behind creative thinking, illustrating how our brains are wired for innovation and how this capacity for creativity has been driving force in shaping the world around us. The authors contend that creativity is a collective phenomenon rather than simply an individual trait that helps societies adapt, change, and prosper in a constantly shifting environment. By weaving together lessons from several disciplines including science, art, and technology, the book delivers an interesting narrative about how human creativity has the capacity to transform our world and propel us into the future.
The main concepts of the book, The Runaway Species by Anthony Brandt and David Eagleman. So the brain doesn't possibly take in experiences like a recorder, but it constantly works over the sensory data it receives. Our relentless drive to create makes us unique among living creatures. Why or what is special about the human brain that enables us to innovate? Why don't cows choreograph dances? Why don't squirrels build elevators to their treetops? And why don't alligators invent speedboats? It's because of creativity. Creativity is framed as a process that can be developed, rather than just a natural gift. It involves linking unrelated ideas to create new insights and solutions. Creativity and innovation is an innate human trait, which is actually an urge that keeps us successful as a human or a species. Creativity is the cornerstone for our next steps. From our daily activities to our school, to our companies, we are all riding arm in arm into a future that compels to a constant remodeling of the world. Only one thing allows us to face these accelerating changes: the cognitive flexibility. We absorb the raw materials of the experience and manipulate them to form something new. Because of our capacity to reach beyond the facts that we've learned, we open our eyes to the world around us but envision the possible worlds. We learn facts and generate fictions. We master what is the envisage and what is. One major point highlighted in the book is how the human brain adapts and changes itself. This aspect of the brain is its plasticity, a quality that would very critically or for creative thinking, in that people reinterpret their experience and begins to generate new ideas, or rather ideas or ideal ideas. Constraints are precious. Constraint could just make one think of the box, which can create creativity. Constraints are not bad. They give new ideas for solving problems. Playful exploration. The author believes that the playful exploration is the paramount for creativity, which can place in an activity that allows one to experiment and risk without the fear of falling, hence fostering breakthroughs. Next is cultural influence on creativity, which influence creative expressions and idea generation, culminating into collaboration and social interaction as ways meant to enhance creativity are explored. Next is the future creative expressions. The authors speculate on how developments in technology and neuroscience might change the future of creativity, suggesting opportunities for collaboration between humans and machines and understanding innovation. Innovation was discussed in regard for creativity. The argument is that what is innovative really often, or innovation from unusual contributions that come out of using existing ideas rather than actual new ideas. Of course, exploring cognitive processes and neural mechanisms of creativity, Brandt and Eagleman managed to embrace different forms of creativity, from music and art to science and technology, highlighting interconnectedness between the latter. All these ideas together paint a rather broad picture of how creativity operates in human life, emphasizing its crucial role both in development of individual and society.
Creativity as a process. For example, in Le Demoiselle d'Avignon, painting by Picasso, he would employ root sketches coming with ideas and poses of subjects for his piece. Then, as he goes on practicing and working, he still comes to decide on the actual act of removing male figures from the given composition, one that indicates him to be malleable in changing his view until it serves him right. This manner of experimenting and iterating presents an example of how his creative expression evolves based on careful consideration and readjustments. Months away from the painting, resurface to create when one is ready. Creativity develops in non-linear fashion from one spent time awake and present new insights. Creativity and innovations are innate human traits. For example, the Picasso's Le Demoiselle d'Avignon painting, it can be seen that public reception and acceptance of his work underscore the fact that creativity carries risk and vulnerability. He received bad reviews but he still continued working. This indicates of how creativity leads to new dimension, even with doubt and criticism. The impact of painting in questioning its own understanding of what was beautiful and how things were represented has a strong indication that the act of creativity can lead towards revolutionizing norms. Cultural influence on creativity. For example, the search for universal beauty. Cultural influence on creativity suggests that whereas there are certain features that appeal to everyone, such as symmetry of the visual plane or complexity that is typical of the beautiful, these are often refracted to the lens of cultural context and evolving societal taste. For example, researchers such as E.O. state that although some amount of complexity is preferred by art, as Wilson here comment on how our aesthetic choices are conditioned both by biological urges and cultural pressures. Therefore, creativity in the final sense is not only responding to some innate human urge but also heavily interlocked with the cultural environment that shaped and redefined our perception of beauty through time. Future broadly influence creative expressions. For example, with the case of the iPhone in Chapter 2, a Jesus phone that was not invented in isolation of miracle, but as a development from past invention that transform and recreate communication and creative ability. One example of this innovative device is the way every new development bases itself in the history of technological development, which changes the course of creative development within new tools and the paradigm that will inspire even further inventions.
In conclusion, Anthony Brandt and David Eagleman's novels The Runaway Species delves into the extraordinary inventiveness of the human mind and how it shapes the world. The writers contend that everyone may learn to be creative via practice and experimenting rather than having it as a natural skill. They stress that creativity is stimulated by limitations that force people to think creatively and frequently entails revising pre-existing ideas. Due to the impact of cultural standards on the perception and valuation of novel ideas, culture also plays a critical part in influencing creativity. The authors emphasize the flexibility of the brain, demonstrating how people continually reinterpret their experience in order to derive new insight. The secret to this process is playful exploration, which let people try things out without worrying about failing. In addition, they talk about the future of creativity and speculate on how innovation can be revolutionized by human-machine collaboration. Ultimately, the book makes the case that human progress is fueled by creativity, which influence both societal and personal growth. Humans are always changing the world around them through creativity, adaptation, and idea repurposing.
My reflection on Runaway Species, how human creativity makes the world, is that even though your art may be criticized while you explore different sketches and anatomy, you should not let it discourage you. You should keep going, and you will continue to improve, just like what Picasso did in his paintings.
Though the book offers insightful information, it might go further into the difficulties of encouraging creativity in a variety of situations. In the end, it's a motivating reminder of our capacity for creativity and the importance of creating conditions that foster creativity, urging us to embrace our need for connection and novelty in a world growing more complicated by the day.